Hello everybody and welcome to the WNX F1 show with myself, Gino and Shiraz. This week we're going to be showcasing the GP1 race at Monaco. This week we have onboards from Tucker Harley, myself, Crekkan and Fire Samuel. And as always we thank Crekkan for putting the vanilla edit together for us to make this show possible. Before we get into this week's news, let's have a little look at what happened last time out in Spain. And the lights are out and everybody's away. Crekkan gets a very good start, but so does Sam Jenks, and he moves to the inside instantly. Wow, look at this.
Wow. That's a lot of wheel rubbing. Cube runner wide there.
Travis is gravel tracking, and that's going to lose him a lot of time.
Oof.
But Cube's gone off the track, and he's just pushed himself up into 13th position. Tucker's moved himself up into 6th position now on lap 7. Josh makes a beautiful overtake on Fire Samuel there into turn 12, and now he's 3 seconds behind Fire Samuel, has come out in front of him, so this undercut has worked a treat for Travis.
Was having a lot of difficulty trying to get past Godzinho, and very interesting perspective. I was going to say, if Godzinho kept his position there, I would have given it back just to avoid the wrath of the stewards.
As we see Crekkan crossing the line, he goes up to the pit wall.
We don't care about Crekkan. Oh! Suicide last dive, and is that Andy? That's Andy.
Andy's gone around the outside, he saw the mistake.
What was he going to do? Oh, this is madness.
So a cracking race in Spain then. After the race, the stewards gave out a couple of reprimands to Stuart and Josh for what they felt was overly aggressive driving, and also JVPNE picked up another penalty which meant he landed himself a qualification ban for Monaco. GP2 in Monaco this week saw a surprise winner in Ferrari fan. His first win of his WNX F1 career. He took the pole also in a dry Monaco race, but it leaves Schumacher IMA still leading the championship, but only by 20 points, Edink in third place. The GP 100 race in Spain last week saw Crekkan again on pole, but a race win this time from Andy Coy. He puts himself now in first place in the championship, despite being only his first win. He's been very consistent this season. That puts him 11 points in front of the second place man Crekkan, with Fire Samuel in third. Last night saw our inaugural Classic League racing in Melbourne in the 90s classic cars. We had a surprise pole from Edink, but the race was won by Fire Samuel when Edink made a little bit of a mistake with his strategy. The weather in the race was atrocious. It was wet most of the race and it only dried up for the last 8 laps. That puts Fire Samuel at the head of the Classic League Drivers' Championship after the first race. This week we're going to bring back our driver bios, and we've chosen to do a driver bio on the GP2 man, Ferrari fan. He picked up his first win at the weekend of his career, but actually it's been quite a long career. He's been here since Malaysia Season 1. He's picked up 11 podiums in that time, but his first pole position and race win came this weekend. But actually, looking at the stats of all the drivers, he has had the most race starts so far. So a lot of experience in Ferrari fan, and he's challenging for that GP2 championship this season. His total career points is 504, which is very impressive. Shows he's very, very consistent. Shiraz, you've raced with Ferrari fan for quite a while. What do you think of his on-track activities?
Yeah, Ferrari fan's got a nice career in Warrior Nation so far. He's a driver with a lot of passion. You can see that on track, and sometimes he gets himself into a little bit of trouble. But you know, after a couple of seasons racing with him, it's been a privilege, really.
Gino, have you been close together on track with him? I know he raced in GP 100 with you this season. Well, it looks, if he carries on the way that he does, he's going to be in GP1 for Season 4. He's not picked up any championships yet, but he's very, very close to picking up the GP2 championship this season, racing for Red Bull. So this is how the tables look then before the Monaco Grand Prix. Crekkan leads the Drivers' Championship only by 3 points, having 3 wins this season. Fire Samuel, also 2 wins this season, very consistent, is behind him on 80 points. The Lotus team still topping up the Constructors' Championship, both Travis and HB Snipes being very consistent so far, despite picking up any wins this season. Let's have a little look then at the Monaco Grand Prix. Circuit de Monaco in Monte Carlo, 19 turns, very, very tight, very narrow track. It's so difficult to overtake here. It's probably one of the only tracks this year that will have only one DRS zone. The activation point is quite a way off as well. Lots of classic, legendary corners here. So tough for the drivers to keep concentration up here, and I'm sure we'll see plenty of wings being flung about the track today. Commentators today is going to be Shiraz and Gino, and myself interjecting every now and again. The qualifying weather looks to be mostly dry, but we're expecting a little bit of rain towards the end of the session, so we should see all the drivers out on track as quickly as possible, and the race looks to be perfectly dry and nice and sunny. Super soft tyres and soft tyres are the choice this weekend. Inters and wets also available, but I doubt we'll see them. Season 2 podium was headed by Fine Samuel. Shiraz in second and Cube in third. Actually, the fastest lap was set by Shiraz with a 1:15.256. I'm pretty sure we're going to see that broken today. What do you think, Gino?
Well, I suppose so. I mean, there's a lot more grip this year, but qualifying, even though it's so important around this track, it only makes up half of it. I think you're going to have a lot of incidents just because of the nature of the track. I mean, people want to overtake each other, there's walls everywhere, and who knows? Who knows?
What do you think, Shiraz? Do you like this track?
Yeah, I think this is a track where the driver really comes into his own. It's a little bit of a neutralising track in that case, much like when it's raining, because this track is the most difficult concentration-wise on the calendar, and it's going to take the best drivers to the top.
It is. It's not about raw speed here. It's about consistency and making sure you don't have any mistakes. Gino, what's the strategy going to be this weekend? Tyre wear's not really an issue here.
Well, number 1 strategy is not to hit the wall. Number 2 strategy is to make sure that you can stay out as long as possible, but if you're going to get into traffic, to try and pit before you hit it, so you can try and get undercut on them for when they go into the pits, and so you can get some clear air, because it can cost you a lot of time being behind someone who you think is slower, who is slower, and you're just going to lose time that way. So pit whenever you need to, try and lose as little time as possible, but make sure you don't hit the wall and anybody else.
And what's the tyre strategy looking like? Are we 2-stop, 3-stop?
Tyre wear looks quite okay this year, actually. I think we might have 2-stop, at the least 3-stop if we have a safety car.
So that's enough talking from us then. Let's go down to the track and see what happened this weekend. Shiraz, you can take us through the pole lap.
Hello viewers, and here we are for the Monaco Grand Prix qualifying. Nice and sunny weather here on the Saturday, and we're on board with Crekkan, flying to this first corner. DRS wide open, pinches the apex perfectly, gets a nice exit onto this straight. It's going to be important for qualifying this long straight here. In rich mixture, only 2 laps of fuel. Crekkan really on it here, pinching that apex beautifully down, avoids the bump into this slow corner. Nicely pinches the apex again, and we're into this world famous racing corner here in Monte Carlo. Fire Samuel sets the fastest lap, 1:12.6. It's going to be hard for Crekkan to beat. Down into the tunnel, using the rest of his curves here, Crekkan saving a little bit, I presume, for the back straight, and Stewart goes 2 times faster with a 1:12.4. No braking, no locking up the brakes there into that tough corner. Here we go, coming up into the swimming pool chicane. Beautifully judged by Crekkan. Again, beautifully on the brakes, missing the ball out. That's very hard to do. He's 1.3 seconds up on the fastest time. He's going to steal pole position, but he goes deep into that corner. Will that cost him onto the final straight? We're going to see he's got no curves left. DRS, he forgets to open that a little bit. Will Crekkan take pole here in Monaco? And he does with a 1:11.4.
Yeah, Crekkan takes pole position then with a very impressive 11.4, but Stewart's not too far behind him, 4 tenths down with 11.8. Sam Jenks in third, Fire Samuel in fourth, Andy Coy beat in fifth, and a very disappointing qualifying session for Travis down in ninth position, not having much practice this weekend due to him being on holiday this week.
Here we are on board with Crekkan for the beginning of this race. Pole sitter. Got Stewart and Sam Jenks behind him. He's in the Force India today. Always switching between cars. Red lights, look but never stare. And we're go here at the Monaco Grand Prix. Crekkan gets a decent start. Stewart all over the back of him. Can he keep this position into turn one? And I think he's touched, and that's Sam Jenks through into the lead. And we're back on board.
I think that was contact there, and that was Mr. Tans spinning out of control. I think the Wolves claimed the victims there. Crekkan making quite a costly mistake, especially for Stewart. He's got no front wing. That's not good. I think there's going to be words about that at the end of the race. But Faisal very close to Andy, touching there. They're trying to get through this very tight track. It's the first lap. Everyone's heavy on fuel. This is just incredible driving at the minute. But we're going on to Travis now. He's behind Tucker. He's lost out to Tucker. He was last place. Tucker didn't qualify. He actually had a grid penalty. I think he impeded someone. But Shiraz?
Yeah, as Tucker gets very deep on the brakes, almost going straight into the back of Stewart, and now that allows Travis right onto him, but I don't think he's going to get the move into this corner. Once again, all the corners here, and we go through an invisible car. Who was that?
I think that was Fire Samuel. I'm not too sure.
We'll have to get news from that. Travis, have you got any news on that spinning car there?
Yeah, I believe that was Fire Samuel, and he also picked up a penalty for some contact with a couple of cars.
Wait, no, that was Godzinho. He's reserve driving? No, he's not reserve driving. He's taken Finbot's place, who has been moved down to GP2 after a string of retirements from the start of the season to Spain. And Crekkan very close, losing traction, but managing to correct it.
Yeah, Crekkan struggling on the brakes there, locking up a bit. You don't want to be doing that because you want to be going as far as possible on this first stint. We're looking to make it to lap 16 according to his team strategy, but it's going to make it very difficult if he keeps locking up. Now, he's got a little bit of a run on Sam Jenks. Can he go for the move down the inside? And he locks up! And he's straight into it. Ooh, lucky there was no contact there.
I think he has in the back of his mind that incident at the start, but let's have a look behind. We're on board with Fire Samuel. Let's see exactly what happened. Where was Stewart when Crekkan locked up? Right beside him. That's really unfortunate. And I think the stewards will have a word about that after the race. Fire Samuel trying to fend off Zinho, and right behind Andy, who goes a bit deep, nearly into Krekkan's gearbox.
Yeah, seeing a lot of opportunist moves at the start here. Obviously, it's very difficult to overtake, so that first lap is crucial for strategy. And Travis didn't get away well at all, and he actually goes into lean mixture. I wonder what that's about. Maybe he's just trying to avoid contact and gain on this back straight, which he did through the invisible car. But I don't think he's going to make the move on Superless Luke here because he's just going to be too tight into this next corner.
I think that was a game error there. When you look closely, just prior to going through that corner, Mr. Towns was actually in Stewart's car, and I think the game glitched there and spun Mr. Towns completely into a 360, to be honest.
Very unfortunate for Mr. Tans, and we're back on board with Travis. He's got a full bank of curves, but he's not going to use all of it into this corner. Now this corner here, this tight chicane, is very popular for overtaking. I think he could have got him if he used all of his curves.
Yes, Travis has to be careful. Tucker, known for being slow but steady. Will that win a race one day? Who knows? But another Williams at the front is Sam Jenks. Crekkan still trying to get past him. He's in optimal fuel, so he must have gone into rich at some point. Sam locking up a bit. Crekkan having a bit of difficulty coming out of the corner. As we go back onto Travis, he has DRS behind Tucker. Getting very close and taking a very good chunk out of that first corner, Shiraz.
Yeah, Pravis just avoiding contact there. I'm sure the stewards will wave over that one. But what we're seeing now is some DRS coming into play. Lap 4, and it's not that effective around here. So, I mean, like you were saying at the beginning of this program, strategy is going to be key here to get yourself in clear air and make those crucial overtakes.
Definitely. I mean, it will. For once, it will take quite a bit of skill to get past someone with DRS. But,
Yeah.
you know, what can you say? It is there for a reason.
Oh, sorry to cut you off,
Travis,
but Tucker very deep into that corner. He made a mistake on entry, and Pravis is all over the back of him in his slipstream. Can he make the move into this chicane? And once again, Tucker defending beautifully, forcing Pravis to make avoiding measures.
I'll be very concerned about their suspensions. They both hit the wall there with wheels, but these cars very strong. And up ahead, I think that is Superless Luke. Tucker also ahead. No, it's JB. JB who started last. He's gone into the pits. Not sure why. I think that may be a penalty. Travis, do you have any news on that?
I don't. I believe he might have cut a couple of corners and landed himself an early drive-through penalty.
Well, that's not a very good sign for the rest of the race, because once you've got one penalty, the rest come very easily.
Now Sam Jenks and Crekkan pulling away from Andy in P3, 2.5 second lead, but these two all over each other, and Sam Jenks almost spins out Crekkan after hitting the wall himself. I think you should give the move back there. What do you think, Crekkan?
Well, I think at the minute it's racing, and we have the stewards have a look at that. We're not too sure what could happen, but frustrations are definitely building up. Crekkan wanting to get past, maybe a complaint in order, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, my impression of that incident was Sam Jenks just clearly cut there on down into the tunnel, and he would have been clean through. So we'll see what the stewards make of that, and we're back on board with Pravis, who's he's looking to find a way past Tucker still. Tucker's still defending beautifully, and Pravis is either going to have to sit back and just control his pace, otherwise he's going to get his tyres ruined in the dirty air of the Williams in front.
Well, Pravis knows what Tucker does, how he drives. He's always, again, very slow and steady, but not very slow. That's a bit harsh. That's a bit rude. But slow and steady, it gets you through the race. And on this Monaco track, you need to be very cautious. You need to be very consistent, and it can be very rewarding at the end of it.
Yeah, 39 lap race. You don't want to give it away in these early stages. It's all about consistency, and Tucker all over Super Snook. These two having a good race. I believe Tucker started outside the top 10, so he's made a beautiful start.
Yes, he did. Again, I'm not too sure what actually happened in qualifying. To me, it looks like he had a grid penalty, so he might have impeded someone, but he was definitely at the back of the grid, so he might have not set a time. He doesn't, it's not. It's a tactic to not set a time, because it just allows you space to not get involved in any first corner incidents, but it can compromise you a bit for the rest of the race. But it's what you do.
Yes,
strategy is a strategy.
Now, Samil, having served that drive-through penalty early in the race, is caught up to this group. And
Tucker's lost control there.
Oh, is that Tucker? I thought it was Super Snook. So Tucker's losing control and letting Pravis and Samil clean pass. And these are two of the quickest guys in GP1, so it's a big loss for Tucker. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to recoup that.
Well, Super Sloop on a similar pace to Tucker, so Pravis and Samuel might be bunched up. We got Mr. Tan's not too far behind. He's recovering from the incident at the start of the race. He's 5.4 seconds behind. He might be able to claw something back through this, but Samuel hitting the wall there.
Yeah, and a little bit greedy on entry, almost spinning out there into the tunnel section, and it's going to take some brilliant driving from this pack to not crash into each other for the whole race. And as we speak that, we can see an even closer battle between Crekkan trying to go around the outside into La Rascaz. Sam Jenks locks up, and once again, beautiful defending from the lead car, but Crekkan will have DRS on him now. Will he get the move into turn 1?
I don't think so. It'll be a bit silly to try and overtake there. Sam Jenks locking up severely. A lot of wheel movement going on, and you can see the wheel moving quite a lot.
Yeah, this DRS is really making it very difficult to overtake. It's not very effective. It just seems to get you into the back end of the car in front, and that's about it. It can't get you side by side.
Whoa!
But Supless Luke making a big mistake there and almost losing the place to Pavis. Now this would free Pavis into nice clean air to go and attack for the podium positions. We're on board now with Crekkan.
Crekkan right behind Sam here. He's going to try and maneuver on the outside. Is this why, Shiraz?
Oh, he's going around the outside. Can he make it stick? He's cut a little bit of that corner and a little bit oversteer on exit, and he's moved into the wall. He's cut off Sam Jenks. This is mayhem here at Monte Carlo.
That was just really poor judgment by Crekkan there. He could have done, I think, a lot more, but it looked like the wall was sucking him in a bit, I suppose. He's I think he's letting everyone go by to try and make amends, but what do you think about that, Shiraz?
Yeah, very clumsy driving. I'm not sure it was intentional to block off anyone, but it's just the way of Monte Carlo. You make one mistake and it can cost you positions and cost you a race, and that allows this back group some podium contentions from Firestmill, who already served his drive-through. So these guys, if they stick in there, they might be on for a podium today.
John, do we have any news on why Sam has gone into the pit?
Yeah, the stewards at the track thought Sam Jenks created a collision when he made contact with Crekkan, and unfortunately was given a drive-through penalty.
Very undeserved, that.
Yeah, very tough there from the stewards. That puts Sam Jenks all the way back into 8th position. He was fighting for the lead, and let's see if he can make it back into the podium. It's going to be very tough with Firestone and Travis in front of him. Travis still being held up by that by the car of sorry, I forgot who's in front of Travis.
I think it's Supless.
Supless, yeah.
Yes, it is. It's Supless.
So these guys just running line astern. I don't think they're going to be any position changes unless anyone makes a mistake. And Crekkan back on the attack. I don't think he suffered any damage from that incident. So he can now go and attack. He's lost DRS and he's coming into the pits. Now, is that for damage or is that a strategic call?
I think that is to undercut. Just to go back onto the incident earlier, I think that was just frustrations building up. Crekkan thinking he needs to get past as soon as possible, and now it's got a lot worse.
Great work there from the 14 group, 3.1 seconds, and Weissman looks really racy today. He's back into 5th, and he's really after Pravis and Supless. Supless holding up this pack of Pravis and Weissman, but he's doing a great job of defending, making his car as wide as possible.
Tyre on Pravis's car isn't looking that bad at all. It's lap 10, and it's only slightly coloured. That's quite different, I suppose. I mean, the Lotus is renowned for its tyre-saving capabilities, but it's been very quick as well. So, has this a change in R&D?
Yeah, I think the Lotus boys brought some new parts to Monaco to help with improving their already good tyre wear. So we can see that coming through in the race from Pravis. Maybe his driving style as well, taking his tyres longer into the race than other drivers. And Super Snoop taking out the Bullard, allowing Pravis a little bit of contact. These front wings are strong, and what happened there? Was that Firestone pushing Pravis into the wall?
Yeah, I think Firestone outbraked himself and crashed pretty much into Pravis. Lucky none of them got damaged and no one lost any positions there, but that'll be very unsettling for Pravis, now knowing that he's got a very angry Mercedes driver right behind him.
Yeah, only 11 laps in, and these group are going to be with each other for the rest of the race. And if Tucker Harley stays with these guys and just hangs on in there, you never know what could happen, because if these guys have some incidents, Tucker could be right in there for the lead of this race.
Yes, I think judging on Tucker's driving style throughout the season, I think a podium is quite likely. But he's got his teammate, who's probably fuming from the incident a few laps ago, right behind him, and he'll be very keen on getting past Tucker.
Yeah, and no team orders here. Tucker going into rich mixture while his teammate was right behind him. That would have been an easy place to let his teammate pass. But Frank Williams obviously allowing his drivers to race it out on the track.
Remember to pit this lap.
So we just got a radio message there for Fire Samuel to pit this lap. A very stark contrast between the tyre wears there. And another piece of contact there. Fire Samuel, I think, graced Travis there. And I think Tucker and Fire Samuel both into the pits.
And Tucker actually overtakes Fire Samuel on the entry to the pits now. Can the Mercedes boys get a nice pit stop here and actually jump them, the Williams crew in the pits? But Fire Samuel having to make a front nose change, and that's going to make it very difficult for him. This race, he's been in the wars so far, and Travis staying out with his great tyre wear. He's actually got damage to his front wing as well, so
A bit of contact again.
yeah, he's really all over the back of Super Snoop, and he's got to be wary of that front wing because he's already damaged, and he could lose a lot of time if he loses the whole wing. And is Super Snoop letting him pass there? Or what's going on?
Well, not nearly. Oh, that looked like a misjudgment there from Super Luke. I think he realised that Travis would be there, but Travis on the outside. Travis with oversteer knocking into Suplas, and he's in the lead with he's in the lead. What can you say?
Yeah, opportunistic driving from Travis. He was squeezed in the tunnel by Super Snoop, and I think he deserved to get past. And Sam Jenks pushes. Who's that? Someone in, and oh my gosh, it's all
in the
happening
wars
out
again,
here.
and even worse for Crekkan, he is spun
My
out.
God.
I think he collected the hairpin there.
He's facing
This
the
is
wrong
not very
way on the main
characteristic from
straight.
him.
This is incredible stuff at Monte Carlo. You come to expect it every year, but even so, this is mayhem.
The driver who has won 3 of the 5 races this season in the wars a lot, and Fire Samuel trying to get past outside Tucker, and he's lost another end plate. That's not going to really help Mercedes team's budget.
No, Firesmill really eking into that team's resources, and I was wincing into that first corner because those two were side by side. I didn't know what the heck was going to happen. What actually did happen was Tucker cut the corner and maintained his position over Firesmill. Tucker has, I believe, pitted for new tyres, and so has Firesmill, but he's lost a little bit of his front wing, and he's going to get some understeer through this stint.
Well, Fire Samuel on quicker tyres than Tucker, but they're more volatile, so being behind a car ain't gonna help those tyres. But Tucker just driving his own race, I swear he's whistling underneath that helmet, just taking it easy, saying, you know, if you're gonna get past me, you're gonna have to try and fight for it.
Yeah, Firesmill, as you mentioned, on the quicker tyres, and going to be lighting up that track. It's going to be a question of how well can Tucker Harley take up this pressure. Firesmill, DRS open, he's not going to get him to turn 1, it's just too far back. Just going to have to stick with him around the track, but he goes for the move down the inside and pushes Tucker into the wall, again loses his wing. Firesmill very aggressive in this race.
Well, I think he could call that strategy, who knows. Just doing something to compensate. I mean, like, he's lost his end plate, he's going to make sure Tucker loses his. So that might help Fire Samuel, but we'll see what the stewards think about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a hard track to do at Monte Carlo because how much of it is down to driver error and how much is down to the walls just being that close and not allowing for any mistakes.
Well, minor contact is assured in this track. I mean, you're going to get it even with the best drivers, but you might get it more with some of the people you thought were the best drivers, especially with Crekkan hitting the hairpin. A massive driver error there, just a failure of judgment.
Yeah, and back on board with Firesmill, and his tyres are not going to be liking this one bit at all because he's going to be running in the dirty air of Tucker Harley throughout this race, and he's lost his little bit of his front wing, so he's going to have to steer that wheel even more, and he's got curves and DRS.
Opportunity.
Can he make the move, stick around the outside, and there's a car coming out the pits as well.
Very, very close. But I think that's Jamie Hall has now got past Tucker, so that overtake past Tucker a lot more. than it should have.
Yeah, Tucker losing 2 places there instead of just the 1 because Jamie coming out of the pits. And this is a good move for Jamie. If I believe that is his first stop, so he's one of the last to come in. So he's doing very well on his tyre wear in that Red Bull.
Oh, Travis has lost out. He's now behind Tucker. He's behind everyone. And Jamie's hit the wall. Very similar to the incident with Sam and Crekkan there, but no barging this time. Just Jamie losing.
And what's
really.
happening up in front there? Weisstemil, did he lose the position to a car into that hairpin?
Well, not quite, but Jamie tried his best to defend. But he's having a lot of trouble. I think did he pit early, or is he just simply having trouble?
And Weisstemil spins round JB.
Samuel.
He's got a penalty quite right.
That will be a penalty.
He's going to quit the race because he's just had enough. That's going to open up another position high up the order. And Crekkan making advantage of Mr. Tan outbraking himself into turn 1, and he just slides right up into P2.
Well, I think Crekkan will be boosted now because that's fire Samuel out of the race. If he wins the race, and if nothing happens to the race, there'll be more than a point. There'll be more than a race win gap in points in the championship standings.
Yeah, Stewart sets fastest lap, and Travis still being held up by Tucker Harley. This is going to be the story of his race, the one that could have been if he could have just got past Tucker.
Well, I don't think Tucker's going to just let him go. I don't think, because points are points, and Tucker not been scoring many points, but he's been very consistent. That's the key, and maybe he might pay off this race. But Tucker nearly going into the wall. Travis seeing an opportunity, going down the inside. Is he going to make it stick? Ah, so close.
Beautiful racing there between the two drivers,
the
and Tucker trying to make the move back, but Travis is going defense, but he's locked up, or he's being pushed. Depends whether he's going to keep that position.
Oh, more hitting. This isn't very good, and now Travis has lost two positions. Yep, 2 positions. This isn't going any easier. He's also got Sam Jenks behind him.
Yeah, that's a classic example of how you can go from 0 to 0 at Monaco. Making beautiful overtake and then losing 2 positions straight after making a mistake. Now he's got Sam Jenks, who himself would be a bit angry under that helmet right behind him.
Yes, frustrations building around this track. We have on lap 17 or 39, about the halfway point. Tucker now in 4th place, fending off Super Luke.
Yeah.
I wonder if he can hold it.
There's an almighty battle going on here for 4th place, as you can see on the mini-map in the left-hand corner. 1, 2, 3, 4,
That's
5,
6
6 cars all vying for that P4 position.
We have a Tucker train.
Yeah.
Oh, and someone's gone off in the at the back there. We've got a separation of the train. I'm not too sure who that was, but I think that was Sam who went too deep, but Stewart still has him 7th.
Now, if Travis can just be sensible here and avoid any contact, and when the pit window opens, if he comes in 1 or 2 laps before the guys in front of him, he can actually make up those 2 positions, because I think if he tries to do that on track, as he's very greedy on the curb there, like I was saying, if he tries to do that on track, it could end up in the wall for him.
Oof, Tucker having a lot of trouble. Oh, well, that's very heavy contact. Super's not comprehend, well, not expect at all that Tucker will be putting back so much, and Super's losing 2 positions, nearly his front wing. But I think that was just a racing incident there.
Yeah, Travis has his teammate behind him now, Stewart. So, Lotus boys enjoying a good race. Eric Booley would be happy, and that's one of the Mercedes drivers has destroyed the vehicle, and that's a safety car out on track. Now, will anyone try and make a bunch of this and dive straight into the pits?
I think everyone will. I mean, considering how long the tyres last, we might see some go on primed, but it might be safer to actually go on options. Godzinho obviously not happy with the situation. He's left and Crekkan into the pits.
Yeah, and front nose change there from the Force India boys, letting Crekkan out. I think he'll rejoin in P2 as well, and We've got some technical difficulties here. Sorry, viewers.
Oh dear. We'll give it a few seconds. I think we have a bit of an error. There we go.
Back on board with the Williams pit crew this time. Another front nose change, so a lot of damage there for the drivers. This is a nice time for them to just dial down their fuel mixture, get some new parts on the car, get some new tyres on, and just ready for the second phase of the Grand Prix.
I think the race director wasn't used to a safety car situation. I think we were supposed to stay on board with Crekkan for a bit, but it's only a few seconds lost, doesn't really matter. Everyone pretty much going into the pits. Pravis's jump took us, so maybe Pravis has actually stayed out.
Yeah, that would be an interesting call from him. He's obviously trying to gain a few on strategy, so let's see if that works for him. But he's gonna have to pit a lot earlier than the rest of them, and he's just I think he's making it gonna make it a difficult race for himself.
He might, but he did pit recently, so he might be thinking to try and get like the rest of the life out of those tyres, pit earlier than everyone else, and hope the tyres last so he can find some people. But it could go either way, to be honest.
Yeah, John, have you got any news on Pravis's strategy call for the safety car period?
Yeah, I'm actually down at the Lotus pit garage now. Pravis actually did come in to put prime tyres on, but Tucker Harley had to change his wing, so that's why he jumped him in the pit lane.
Okay. So we're seeing that the driver concentration is coming into it here, because all these mistakes, even though you can get them replaced in the pits, might cost you positions if you're going to take longer in that pit stop.
I think that was a person that we should have been jumped onto when we hit that black screen there. I think it should have been Pravis's pit stop, but no matter. Yeah, mistakes happen. But to round up the top three, we have Dan Hall, Crekkan, Mr. Tans, a different set of podium positions there.
Yeah, Dan will be picturing himself that he's in P1, running for the Red Bull team. Of course, Dan doing very well in P1. He's ghosting the safety car, and he's going to be controlling the pace when the safety car comes in. And I believe the marshals would have cleared the damage from Godzinho's car wreck, so I think we should be seeing the safety car coming in this lap.
And race directors once again messed up because we don't have audio this time. So that might be interesting.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to rely on the TV images of beautiful HD.
Let's just imagine the gear changes. Let's imagine the car revving up. Just think about it.
Yeah, and look at the beautiful sights here at Monaco. This swimming pool section. All the important people in the boats are here to watch today, and safety car is in this lap. So Dan's gonna back the pack up really deep into Lyraskas, and when he makes a move, he's gonna get a nice clean exit onto the final straight, and we're back racing green flag conditions.
Someone's gone into the pits, I think. I'm not too sure who, but at the top, the 4th to 6th have changed a bit. It's Pravis in 4th, Tucker in 5th, JB is now in 6th. Three already get away from Pravis. Tucker not too far behind Pravis, but I think Pravis will be trying to, might be trying to go at the end, but it'll be a very tough, even for the Lotus team, it'll be very tough for that to happen.
Yeah, Pravis, as we see a little bit of front wing end plate on the track, Pravis is going to struggle on fuel because despite the safety car conditions, he didn't actually manage to gain any extra fuel, so he's going to have to switch back into standard, as we can see now. And he's going to have to be watching out for that fuel light towards the end of the race.
Dan Hall, he's pulling out a gap. Dan Hall is on options, I believe, while Crekkan is on primes. I think Crekkan might be trying to go to the end, but he'll have to stay far behind Dan, to be honest, so he doesn't get the effects of the dirty air. But we'll see how that develops. Yeah,
phase 2 of the race now beginning. We just passed halfway, and drivers are just getting back into the groove of things. Pravis adjusting his brake bias. One of the drivers who does that the most on Grand Prix weekends. What do you make of the brake bias system in the 2013 cars?
I think it helps quite a bit. I mean, when you're making setup, you can, preset a certain amount of brake bias to either the rear or the front. Usually, the drivers place it on the rear so they can turn in easier and avoid front locking. But to be able to also increase or decrease the effect of a rear brake bias or front brake bias, it helped with certain corners. I mean, in Bahrain, that first corner, a lot of people used a rear brake bias because the front wheels simply would lock up by the time you reached the apex of the corner. But it's very useful.
Yeah, once again, it comes down to driver styles. I mean, up until last year when Schumacher was still racing, he was one of the drivers who would use the brake bias the most, and like we're seeing in this season, Pravis seems to be the driver on the grid who makes full use of that brake bias set up on his car, and once again going to neutral for this first corner. And just a rundown of the top three. We've still got Dan in P1, followed presumably by Crekkan and Mr. Tans in P3.
Pravis third, P4, Tucker in fifth. Still believe that JB will be in sixth, but Pravis hitting the wall there. And there's already a gap, well, quite a big gap actually, forming between Mr. Tans and Pravis. Mr. Tan, in an element of his own, trying to claw back some points this season, not had a very good start.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing now is the difference in tyre compounds. Obviously, Pravis on the slower tyre compound right now, and on slightly older tyres, considering that the rest of the grid pitted during the safety car period. And actually, no, Pravis did come into the pits, didn't he? But he's got a penalty for corner cutting. That's quite harsh because I think that's the first time I've seen him corner cut.
Yeah, he locked up his front right tyre, and he wouldn't be. I think he might have been able to make the corner, but to play it safe, he made sure that he would not impede anybody. But the stewards not taking a very good light out of that. So Pravis's race, any chance of a podium ruined there. So he's going to have to try and recover. Ninth. I think Suplis is too far behind. See? Yeah, Suplis is too far behind to affect Pravis at a minute.
Now, Pravis is just going to have to roll his sleeves up and just get on with the job here, because this puts him right towards the back end of the points. And the one positive you can take out of this is that it is Monte Carlo, and he can just keep in there and try and get close to that pack. He might be able to make advantage of some incidents towards the end of the race. And we're back on board with Crekkan, and Dan is doing a great job in P1.
Yes, he is. But further down the field, Mr. Tans in third. I think he had a bit of a mistake because a train was beginning to form back there, but it's edged away a bit. Pravis might try and take that to his advantage if he can. A lot of bollard hitting. I think the person who replaces that bollard every lap should get a reward or something. I don't know, a medal. But yeah, Crekkan keeping Dan in check. Mr. Tan's 4 seconds behind, but Dan does need to try and pull out a gap to Crekkan.
Yeah, the bollard's taking a load of abuse here at Monte Carlo, as to be expected. Stewards here, some of the best in the world, obviously, and I'm sure there must be a nice little bollard shop around the corner over there to keep replacing them. And we're back with Crekkan, and keeps that 1 second gap, but like you said, Mr. Tans is pulling back to 5 seconds in P3, so it looks like these two should just should be the main protagonists for the race win today.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, everyone else is so far behind, but you have to think about Crekkan. He may have some sort of penalty by the end of the race as he hits the wall. Hopefully not damaging his suspension, but we'll see. But as I said, Crekkan, he might be facing a penalty after this race, so he will be aware of that and be trying to will be getting ready to pull out a gap when Dan pits. But he seems to be catching up with Dan already. He's getting a bit impatient with Dan's strategy.
Yeah, Crekkan will have to make use of his own strategy if he wants to get out in front of Dan. I don't think he'll be able to make the pass out on track, obviously because of the nature of this Monte Carlo track. But if Dan does make a mistake, you can be sure that Crekkan will make advantage of that one.
I think Dan's tyres are already suffering. He's looking a bit twitchy, hitting a wall or two here and there. And then Crekkan hits the wall himself with relatively fresher tyres. So I think anyone could do it, to be honest.
Yeah, Crekkan also cleaning up a little bit of debris on the in the entry to the tunnel there. So someone must have lost their front wing, and two Williams drivers in fourth and fifth. Doing a good job for the team. Down
Gonna have to keep an eye out on Sam Jenks. He is one of the quickest around this track and is behind Tucker. Whether Tucker will put up a challenge to his quicker team, I don't know, but I don't think he will. I mean, Tucker, a zone race to race, the podium is right in front of him, to be honest. So he has to rely on Mr. Tan's having an error or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be difficult for Tucker to keep Sam Jenks behind him for much longer. If I was on the Williams pit crew, I'd just be radioing Tucker to let Sam Jenks pass, really, because Sam should really be fighting for the win, and these two can fight it out for fourth place. What's your opinion on team order? Should they be in the sport?
I'm not too sure. I mean, for the first few races, I think it's kind of pointless because you still have such a long season to go. But I would say by halfway through the season, if it's clear that one of the drivers has a very good opportunity to finish in the 3 or even first, I think team orders are quite acceptable at that time. But a very tentative subject. I mean, it can really drive people apart. It can drive the entire divisions apart. I mean, it's a very controversial subject. I mean, nobody likes seeing somebody getting seemingly played down by the team. But it's a team sport. They've got to think about who is more likely to win the drivers, who is more likely to finish in the top 3. So by the end of the season, I think we will start seeing team orders, very widespread. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we look back at recent F1 history, which have been most successful in the last 20 years, you look at Sebastian Vettel and Michael Schumacher, were clear number 2s, and it just comes down to the fact that only one guy can win the championship, only one guy can win the race. So successful in the sport, team orders to be the way to go, and we're back on board with Crekkan, who's all over the back down.
Locking up
his wheels again. Sim.
I think
penalty for that. I think that's
really
because he's so right.
Well,
yeah, I mean,
it's more. I think it was just more Crekkan.
This will be arguing
to
that with that one.
Well, Crekkan, he should be trying to conserve his tyres a bit because locking up ain't gonna help. But again, he's lost time to Dan Hall. This isn't helping him. But at the same time, maybe it is. I mean, getting away from the dirty air, it can be a gift rather than a curse.
Yeah, Crekkan missing out on 1 or 2 opportunities to pass Dan, and we're back in to go. So to make one of these moves stick, because Dan's tyres are, I think, hit the cliff. The fact that Crekkan's even struggling on his tyres, given the fact on the prime tyres. So Dan's going to make a pit stop and go into the primes this lap.
Then again, I think he might have time to go on the options. I mean, the track will be a bit rubbered in, so not too sure which would work out best. I mean, if you want to make sure you get to the end, you put on the primes, but who knows?
Yeah, I think if Crekkan was trying to use strategy, he would dive into the pit, but he's actually stayed out now, and he's going to try and pull out a gap on his outlap while while Dan is stuck in the pits. But it may leave the door open for Dan to get an undercut on Crekkan.
Travis into the wall there. He's just lost some of his end plate, and that wing on the indicator not looking very good. I think he's lost both end plates, so he's kind of relying on the bottom of the wing, and Slippers wanting to get by, and Travis deciding to pit, and might be putting on some options. We'll have a look. Yes, there are options. Replacing the wing, put on some fresher, grippier tyres, and we'll see how Travis fares.
Yeah, Pravi's just leaving the door wide open at La Rascas there. Almost got clipped by the car behind on his way into the pits, and back into 10th position for Pravis, and it's all cut out for him to do. He's got the undercut now, so he should be able to gain a few seconds on the guys who's racing. And Tucker's still in front of Sam Jenks, so obviously the Williams team not using team orders, and
well, Sam's backed off a bit, actually, it looks like. Unless Sam's had an error, he's backed off a bit. But, Tucker came very close to the wall. But, again, Tucker just driving his own race, trying to secure a good amount of points for him and the team. But, if team orders do come into play, it will be Sam who gets favoured, because Sam is higher up in the standings.
yeah, I just think Tucker has the pace on Sam this time round. He seems to be betting into the tyres, getting set with the car. Maybe he'll provide a much stronger opposition to Sam for the rest of this championship. So we should look out for Tucker after this. It's basically been a good performance from him in P4, considering that he started outside the top 10.
I mean, we've said time and time again that Tucker, he's very consistent. I mean, he hasn't been scoring points for no reason. He's very consistent. He may not be the quickest, but it's that consistency which is getting him the points, and why Williams are third in the constructors.
Yeah, with Sam Jenks, as we said, all over the back of his teammate, and he's going to make the move down the inside into the chicane. Isn't enough space for both of them. Tucker's put his hand up in frustration. The Williams driver, Sam Jenks, pushing his way through. They'll be happy that there was no contact.
Well, any contact that at least didn't take off somebody's wing, but
Yeah.
Again, it's kind of sharing the frustrations around this track and the frustrations within the team that Sam's getting preferred. But Sam is higher up the standings at the minute, so he will get preferred. And Williams not been having a few good seasons so far, so they'll need every point they can get. And Sam could get a few more if he keeps his pace up as he recovers from the incident earlier on in the race.
Yeah, I don't think Tuckers can complain about team orders on that one, because Sam just went straight down the inside of him. He left the door wide open and didn't make much of a defensive move of it. And we're on board with Pravis, who's fighting P9. This is not where he would want to be. And it's just been a tough race for him.
Yeah, both drivers touching the wall there. Pravis hitting the wall after looking backwards to see Jamie doing the exact same thing. So, yes, don't get distracted on the track. You don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, it's only 7 laps to go, and there's still all to play for. Remember, it's Monte Carlo, so if you're on track, you've always got a chance.
I kind of feel sorry for the GP100 guys. After doing 70 laps on this track. I mean, drivers already getting a bit tired out. Frustration's already running high. So, full race with a proper large fuel tank, a GP100 car having a larger fuel tank, it's gonna might be very incident filled, but we hope not.
Yeah, it just goes to show track. Because it is a slow track, and physically it's not that demanding. The G-force, but despite that, the drivers still call it the toughest on the calendar. I think that's just because of the concentration levels, really, more than anything else.
Yep. Well, Jamie, he's Very close to Pravis. I think Jamie actually has a lot more pace than Pravis at the minute, unless Pravis is saving fuel and conserving his tyres into the last few laps. But Jamie and the driver behind him, not too sure who it is, unfortunately. Sorry about that. But yeah, Pravis fending off Jamie and whoever's behind him.
Now, John, I'd just like to get your opinion on this. What will Pravis be thinking at this moment? Because he can't make up any places in front, but he's got two guys right back behind him, and as we see Stewart trying to make the move on Tucker and being unsuccessful. But like I said, John, what will be going through Pravis' mind right now?
I think he's definitely under pressure from Jamie Hall.
I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but Stewart makes the move on Tucker Harley down to the inside. That's the first time we've seen an overtaking move into that corner, and Tucker all over the place, almost letting past Andy as well. He's really struggling out there.
Yeah, I heard a bit of contact with Andy there. I mean, Tucker getting a bit violently pushed near the wall, but managing to save it. And Mr. Tans, he's knocked the wall, and he's having a lot of difficult traction. Tucker takes opportunity of that and gets past. So, yeah, to Mr. Tans has gone all the way back down. I mean, Andy's got past him now.
Yeah, it's really all happening out here in Monaco. Sorry to interrupt you there, John, but like you were saying about Pravis, as Stewart loses a little bit more of his front wing, Tucker's going to have to go into rich mixture, but he hasn't got the DRS. He was outside the 1 second, and Stewart locking up again. These drivers, like I said before, concentration really coming into it now that we're in lap 35 of this race. We're seeing a few more errors from drivers.
But I think John will finally be able to answer his question soon.
Yeah, I think Pravis is very frustrated, but I just want to go back to that pass on Tucker Harley with Stewart. That was the first clean pass we've seen all race. A very, very good pass from the second Lotus driver, but since then he's not been driving very cleanly. He's lost 2 end plates. I wonder where that's going to put him come the end of the race, because he was in a very
Stewart,
good position.
I think he's just had a lag spike. Stewart renowned for those lag spikes, but again, another race. Another lag spike. Not very good.
Yeah, the stewards at this track, the marshals at this track will have a lot of souvenirs to take home with them come the end of the race. But Andy all over the back of Tucker Harley. He'll be in the DRS zone come the end of this straight. And he's actually just got a poor exit, and he's not going to be able to make the move on Tucker Harley into this turn 1 corner.
And just to come on to that, guys, I've had word from the stewards that they're going to be looking at Crekkan, Sam Jenks and Stewart after the race, so a big investigation for the stewards after the race, and that could affect the outcome of the results.
Well, excitement at every turn. So we'll see what happens. Crekkan does have a very massive lead at the minute because he's decided not to pit, but will those tyres hold up? And if they don't, and he does get a penalty, how far down the field will he go? So we're still riding on board with Tucker. He's held off Andy pretty well. We're back on board with Pravis, who is still fending off Jamie. Stewart, after the lag spike, is all the way down into 6th. Pravis has now jumped up into 7th. So again, Lotus trying to score as many points as possible. With Crekkan taking reserve drive in Australia, they do have a race-winning car, but they've just not been able to find any luck recently. I mean, we've had quite a difficult first few races after Australia.
Ooh, and Jamie was disqualified from the session. Now, I don't know what happened there. Has anyone got any news on that?
Yeah, Jamie Hall has cut one too many corners this race. I believe over the radio, Suplas having some complaints to the Toro Rosso team. The Toro Rosso team took it to the stewards, and the stewards decided enough was enough. He'd cut too many corners, and he was black flagged.
Yeah, that Force India is sounding very bogged down. Sorry if I interrupted you there, but it's sounding very bogged down. Mr. Tan's retiring from the race So a potential podium, and another ball had gone there. So a potential podium is out of the question now, as Crekkan is really struggling. Really struggling. He's got a 6.8 second gap. He's done a 120. A 120. He's 2 seconds off the pace. I don't think he's gonna actually hold off Sam, or Dan for that matter.
Yeah, there's only 2 laps left, and it's still all to play for the lead. Sam Jenks might just sneak this one, but I think the engine in that Force India is on its last legs. With Monaco being one of the less demanding tracks, the teams tend to run some old engines, so might be hearing some not very nice noises from Crekkan's engines towards the end of the lap. And 4.2 seconds, another second taken out by Sam Jenks in the first sector.
Those tyres look horrid. It's not just on the indicator screen there. It's a digital implant in the helmets that displays the information there. It's very useful to the drivers and to the teams. But just look at those tyres. They look really bad. He's having a lot of difficulty with grip.
Yeah, he's going to really struggle to hang on to this wing. And missing the apex again. 2.6 seconds to Sam Jenks, almost onto the last lap. It's still all to play for here at Monte Carlo.
He's put the foot down a bit as much as he can, but it's just not enough. I mean, he's going to have a quicker lap, but not as quick as Sam or Dan. Sam now ahead of Dan. I think Crekkan's going to lose it. Sam, he's all the way behind him. And
less than a second between the two, and he's going to make the move into this corner. Nice clean straight around the outside. Crekkan down to P2. Dan will be all over the back of him as well. I just don't know what happened with his tyres. He came into pit around the same time as everyone else. He must have a really aggressive setup on that car, because he's just got no traction and obviously no turning.
There he goes. That's the position gone. But I think I've just got some news from John there. Something's happened with Sam.
Yeah, the stewards have just decreed that Sam has a 20-second time penalty to be added on to his race time at the end of this race for cutting the corner on the last lap of the race. A corner cut and a 20-second penalty. Even though he's leading the race, he's going to lose it as soon as he crosses the line.
Straight up for Tucker Harley, because all the drivers in front of him has penalties, and again another bullard's taken out.
Something's happened to Dan. Happened to Dan. I don't know what it is, but Crekkan's just gone down the inside. Crekkan looking at a victory as long as nothing happens. But look at Tucker. Where's Tucker come from? He's all the way, and he's beside him. He's beside Crekkan. Oh,
wow!
That was incredible.
What a Monaco race! All the drivers went up and down, peaks and troughs for everybody in that race. Sam Jenks obviously taking the win, but 20 seconds puts him down to 6th place. Crekkan takes the win, and Tucker Harley's 0.068 behind him. But Crekkan, he's going to be under investigation by the stewards after this race. So if he gets handed a penalty with the top 6 being so close, he could end up in a very poor position in this race. Pravas finishing in 7th place with his race being so up and down. That's probably a good result for him. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much, Gino. Thank you very much, Shiraz, for coming on and commentating today. That's the Monaco Grand Prix, and we'll see you all again for the Canadian GP.